Hello everyone and welcome back to another speed build. Today we are doing Ariel's grungy apartment. Now when I say this was somewhat of a challenge, it's an understatement. To just even try to, do anything different that's not in my comfort zone was already hard enough, let alone I'm still quite a very beginner builder, and to just even try to build this as an apartment on my own without any of the gallery help has been it's been an experience, but I've been happy to go on board with it and just see where it leads me. And as I get through it, let me tell you, I am so proud of myself, like with the amount of effort I put in and the work I put in with it, and the decorating especially was a very powerful move. So I've been just doing this lately, this kind of opening of doing the game of just setting up my world at this stage. We are at the second last build as well, before I kind of move a little bit away from the Disney princesses and move into the actual townies from Sims. I just feel that having a bit of diversity will help with kind of just picking up the pace of where I'm at with everything. Trying to even set up some stairs and trying to work out what I'm trying to design here has been a hassle. But I managed to, because I kind of was basing off a lot of the kind of New York buildings and how they have their fire escapes on the side or the outside part of the building. So just trying to work out on how to build that, and I eventually find a good method to fixing that. But anyway, and I'm trying to just liven up my world a bit. I think for my own sanity as well, I really want to use the gallery for my community lots. I'm no way a professional builder, and there's using the using the accessibility of the gallery would help so much. So I think as well I'm not sure if I want to do that on camera just yet, but I do want to credit, if I do record on camera just to see how they look, I will credit the artist where I got them from. If not, I'll just do it on my own time, and I'll still try and remember who I used at least, and then I can pin it in my description, so then if anyone is interested in the actual build, they can find them. But it's just been a bit lonely and a bit just isolating at the moment with my game, because I am in a blank save world, and as I keep moving forward, I'm just wondering how will I go across with, as I start getting a bit more packs and getting new worlds and the townies in them. I just thought, you know what, might as well just have what I have right now. When I do get more townies and the worlds, it's not that hard. I do like to do the customization of townies and trying to, even if I really can't be bothered updating their home myself, I can always look on the gallery and search their name and see how other Sim players portrayed their gallery. So I think that will just help me out with my game. I also started now in just under the scenes, starting to kind of build up my characters a bit more in The Sims. So each person have a little bit more of a storyline of, where they want to head towards, what their goals are. Like I said in my past Creator Sim, I am a legacy player a lot, so I do tend to just go towards have a child, have a family, and move forward in that, and the legacy continues. Now, I'm not saying that will happen consistently, but I feel with at least a few of the characters that I do side with, or I really like just how they're, developing, I decide to then continue with, a bit more of a storyline and see where it takes me as a legacy challenge. For instance, if I really like one of the base Sims, one of my Disney princesses, I do feel I could do like 100 baby challenge with one of them. I could do another one, could do like the not so berry challenge. So it does work out in having a bit more of, I guess, a lively bunch of townies. I am also looking into trying to make a Sims 2 Let's Play as well as a Sims 3. I currently only have the Sims 3 base game, which still is quite a lot to do with what you get. And I'm not sure if I'll be modding it. I'm contemplating, because again, there is a whole world out there of mods for the Sims 3 as well. And to me, anyway, my gaming experience, mods usually make it better and more interesting in my defense. But yeah, I'm not too certain yet with that, where that one's leading me. At least I know for The Sims 2 that it's already been a little bit modded in custom content, but it's been a lot more tame. So far, only Sims 4 has been my unhinged game with the accessibility of mods and everything. I just feel, because of the, I guess, availability as well, what you can do, and it's just been a style that since the Wicked Whims came out, I just enjoyed that type of gameplay. It just felt realistic. I am more of a mature gamer as well, so I'm not really, I guess, finding it in the lewd terms. It just appeals to me. Not really this, even The Sims 2, like this cutscenes for the woohoo, even because even to an extent The Sims 3 felt a lot more risque than what we have for The Sims 4, and that's, I think, another part of why I just enjoyed the gameplay. I'm not sure how that's going to go. That one, at least, I personally don't have to make it the whole town, because you do get very fleshed out Sims and lore in those two games, so that's only why as well I've just been into this type of new playstyle. But I think as well I don't want to just make my own Sims either. I think I do want to get some like actual other people's Sims from the gallery and see what storylines I can make with them and how they have an influence with everything. But yeah, just at the time, I'm just, enjoying my game for as much as I can, honestly, because it is quite a difficult it sometimes is a difficult game to enjoy, mainly because it takes a lot more work into just the setup compared to actually playing a storyline, which is a bit sad, but that's why I want to try and break it up with a bit of the custom of the creator sim and the build by, and to try to eventually already start some let's plays and actually kind of get the ball rolling on that. But I think we'll probably start back at Snow White's house, since that's where we left off, or that's where we started this whole journey. And I think for Snow White, I really do want to do like a legacy challenge, and I think that's quite fitting for Snow White being as well the first Disney princess. She does leave quite a legacy for the rest of the characters. But I also do want to try and make some challenges, and it's just, unfortunately for me, I play as I go. I don't really plan too much ahead. Just mainly like, oh, I want this character to do this with their life, or like they become, for instance, they become a vet, or they own a retail. I think Snow White, I only gave her a actual babysitting job. Hence, kind of because she does look after the 7 dwarfs, and I guess in modern day it kind of suits for her to be fitting of a babysitter. And I did make her family oriented, and she wants to find her true love, which really does resemble the Disney one, or the cartoon Disney of Snow White. So I feel that I want to try and, I guess, tell her story. Like, I feel with her story she's a bit more conservative, I do feel she had a stepmom, and I wouldn't say she was so wicked, but I don't think they really saw eye to eye. And I do feel as well that I want to make that Snow White's mum wasn't through death. She actually just left. And given this is a modern twist anyway, I feel that she would have left for probably better or probably someone richer. And obviously Snow White's kind of resented her mother in that sense, never really actually knowing what kind of person she is, and I felt she left her at a young age. But she did have a stepmom that didn't really see eye to eye with her, but it was still for her mum. And I feel that as the story evolves, I can slowly build in these characters into Snow White's life and see what kind of, I guess, things would happen. Obviously, I want as well Snow White to find her Prince Charming, but I also feel that it'll be quite interesting. I want to make her Prince Charming actually one of the Sim Townies that are not married. See if she can like romance someone up like that. See where it takes her. And it's a bit on the nose because it is quite easy to romance anyone in the Sims and do that sort of way. That's why I believe people have the challenges, but I feel that she does want to romance someone, but I want to as well, I guess, take in a little bit of a realistic perspective. So see not just her compatibility, but what kind of person and kind of, yeah, I really like in the dislikes and likes in with the Wicked Whims in Create a Sim, because you can kind of go off the basics of who you think's attractive or not, or just that kind of compatibility. But yeah, it's unfortunate it doesn't give you really any challenge. I guess it's how it is, and you just make it work in that sense. And then, but anyway, so her story. So she obviously got this home, and Snow White. It just seems to be, I guess, a little bit dodgy because it just came on the market and clearly was used, but whoever used it just left it in such a state of a mess. And she just has to slowly start chipping away to cleaning it and kind of organizing it into her own aesthetic. And I think she would as well wonder why it's so strange to have 7 beds, or just as many beds as it is. And I think the story I did make was that the 7 little men did have a mum, and unfortunately when she passed they kind of broke apart and went their own ways. I also want to introduce them slowly in Snow White's life, I guess just inconveniently, I guess. But yeah, her main storyline for the legacy is as well to be the matriarch. So she does want to build a family and have kids. It's also why I enjoy having Wicked Whims, because I do have the randomcy for pregnancy on as well. So then, if she decides to have a bit of woohoo fun, there's going to be as well the chance of pregnancy. So then it can be just if she's not married yet, but the goal is to get married and obviously take the steps into doing that. So it would be like moving in together, getting to know someone, blah blah. As for career-wise, so she is a babysitter, but I feel that she would be so much more than that. And if I'm really thinking honestly on the top of my head, I feel that Snow White would probably own her own bakery. Thinking of it, I think that would be a good, as well, way to, I guess, build up in her story that she is trying to save up to build her own bakery, and that will be her dream job. But obviously I'm not sure just yet what kind of challenges she does face. I do have as well, I've downloaded Life's a Drama and Life Tragedies for my Sim save file, so then something can occur at random points, since it's not really too random at the moment. But yeah, as far as a romance goes, let's see, it's Snow White, so I don't see why there can't be maybe a love triangle, kind of to identify as there's the Snow White and then there's the prince, or there's the good guy who's the prince, that's clearly she should be with him. But then there could be kind of the bad influence, which is the hunter, given off Snow White's story. I don't see why that couldn't work out, that there's maybe a love triangle involved. So maybe she gets a bit too emotionally invested with two Sims into her neighborhood, and I mean, in the end of the day, she'll have to try and pick one, see what happens, or is it just by, roll the dice, like, does she love both, but she ends up pregnant with one of them, or both of their kids, and then she has to choose, or, I'm not really sure. That's why I do try to set up slowly a story, but I do play more in the game, just, like, day by day, I guess. I just as well fixed my own traditions in The Sims and holidays. I play a bit different too as well. I never done that before. I've always used the in-game presets for the holidays, so this is an interesting way to approach it. So I know from memory I added like Easter, Flower Day, because I did like that one with the flower bunny. That's in spring, and then there is a whole week days of summer, so I do play with 2 weeks of 14-day season cycle. I did notice that, well, in summer, the first week of summer was like summer break, and that's for anyone working or school, and no traditions, nothing. It's just more the sense of having the day off. And I believe that was all in summer, and I did make, I think, Valentine's Day, or, well, for me, Love Day was in summer as well, just to kind of break it up a little bit. And then in autumn we had, or fall, in autumn we have Halloween, so I made that the first day of Halloween, and everyone celebrates it, but a bit more realistic as well. No one has a day off, it is just a day with traditions. And then I believe somewhere after that would be as well a little bit, I made as well Day of the Dead, which is more the Remembrance Day, and just to be in the more of a festive, like in the spirit, I think it's festive lighting. And then obviously in winter I did make Christmas Eve and Christmas Day 2 days, because I just watched a video from Snatch on Sims, nice shout out, where he describes a few of his methods or ideas on having a bit more of a different type of save file, which actually did help, and I'm getting a lot of inspiration from that to try and help make my game a bit more interesting. And yeah, so then I definitely made I made Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve obviously is more the decorating and Father Winter comes, and then the Christmas Day is just more enjoying everyone's presents, having a grand meal, and like being jolly for everything. And then obviously I did include, I think I include Winterfest, I'm not sure, maybe not Winterfest, I can't remember, but I definitely did Christmas. And then I did, obviously the last day was like New Year's Eve as well, just to have that celebration, because I did see how that worked quite well in the game. So that was so far my traditions that I've set up. All the other girls as well have been just busy finding some work to fill in their spaces at this stage of where they are in life. And I could see, like, as well with Snow White, she does really want to find true love, and like, oh no, I figured out something else could work. So maybe, like, even if it's like, the kind of like bachelorette kind of challenge, so she has to date 7 different guys, to hence the 7 dwarfs, or have those types of personalities, and then whoever she does get along with the most, she ends up being together with. I think that's a good way to work it out as well. And I'm just here, just taking some photos, checking it how it all is, just enjoying the kind of the view and the lighting. As I continue, because I had to record this in 2 parts, due to my little one. He's a little toddler, so he needs mummy's help. Yeah, so now we're back and starting to do the second part of the build, which is more still indoor decorating. Yeah, I actually like the idea that she, like, there was obviously the 7 men here, and that was just like, sorry, in her cottage. So for her, it was just more in the sense of just getting left, and she was like, no, I'll take it. Like, that's no problem for her. She never backed down for some hard work. I do like that idea a lot, like to date 7 different men, because she is Snow White. So, like, how do you implement, or how do you make it a challenge? Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So I think I will still, well, I guess trying to find as well, the extra challenge is trying to find sim townies that fit the category of them. And obviously, if worst comes to worst, is, oh, look, someone just moved in. Or as well, try to find someone on the gallery, I think also will help, because I don't feel, I don't really like to just make a family straight off the bat either. Sometimes, like, sometimes I do, and when I know it's a family and I know what the family's dynamic is. But I really do feel that this is where it's coming up from. Whereas I know the really rich, famous sim townies, so like the Goths, the Landgrabs, the Alter family, are all more like the kind of sim version of the housewives. And they all are very, that kind of snobby and stuck up kind of group that just acts like they're top best. But I do want to try and make it, like, fill it up slowly as I go, and still be able to create a let's play with it. So I do like that challenge with Snow White, to actually have to date 7 different men. I really want to keep that idea in my mind fresh, so I need to just write it down. Obviously you'll be through the types or the personalities of the little men. So if you're not aware, there's sleepy, dark, grumpy, dopey, bashful, sneezy. I think that's all of them. Yeah, that works. So there's the first challenge, which plays in her storyline. As I mentioned, there probably, I do feel that I do feel like I've mentioned with her mother, I feel either her mother or her stepmom could come back to kind of mix in with, I guess, what she's been building up. So like her friendships and her families and her, I guess, just her own like social status. And obviously she can't really own a bakery right now either, with I guess the amount, without having get to work, which I don't own just yet. So I feel as well trying to wait up on that and probably just build up her skills would be a good start. And obviously, I do have the Sim SNB Sim banking mod. So I feel she can maybe have a savings account that saves up for the bakery and try and do it that way. Then she wants to own a bakery. Now I know it's also quite common to also have her not date 7 men, that she has 7 children, which I think is just a bit too much work. But I don't know, definitely feel she would have a lot of children, but I don't know if she'll have the exact amount of 7 children. But I think as well, for Snow White, having a family is what she wants, and I think that having maybe a minimum of 4 kids is, like, I guess, her own personal goal. And of course, she wouldn't just, like, pop them out either. Like, it is going to be somewhat of a legacy challenge with Snow White. And not to say that she can't have kids that also are named or based off the other adult versions of The Sims. Like, for instance, if she really befriends Cinderella, I don't see why she can't call her daughter like Ella or something. And then, in her storyline, since it's the legacy, she actually gets along, or her godmother is Cinderella, which is an inspiration of her name. Something like that. I do want a lot of cross compatibility somehow, and just seeing what works and what happens at the time. Now, as well, I do feel that Snow White would be the only child, but she does have. What does she have? No, she doesn't. I'm thinking Cinderella. Whoops. No, I feel that Snow White would be the only child. As well, her stepmom being a lot more, I guess, in more the type that I feel, same as, yeah, very inspired from the Evil Queen, but not her haggard appearance. I feel that she was a bit more kinder. Well, maybe not kinder, but she took care of Snow White. Like, she wasn't as cruel as the Evil Queen is, but she was very tough on her, and I think that was maybe, seeing her own story, that she has issues with herself or what she's gone through in her own personal life, which does lead me to wanting for 100% create the Disney villains. Because, oh my god, the drama, the story is so much more broad to try and just to build up. Like, I already see it, and I do feel like even when I get to the stage with Anna and Elsa in their household, I do want them to live together. And of course they have, like, I know there is the Disney princes, but I don't really relate to the princes as much as I do as the princesses. That's obviously because probably I'm a girl and I do like creating more female Sims than male. It's just the unfortunate truth. But I don't see either maybe making the princes as well available, like bachelors, and causing some drama in there. Like, maybe she'll end up with Aladdin instead of her Prince Charming. So that's why I do want to just keep it broad and open. I don't want to just create all the cast and it's like, okay, this is only who you can mix with. I wanted it quite open. But yeah, that's just, I feel, a good starting base for kind of slowly building up, and I think I want to focus on one family at a time. Like I said, the Sims townies, who are at least the most known families, will definitely be more of the housewives of the Sim universe, because I feel they have the most drama, the most lore, the most money, so it kind of feels like just to be a competition between them all. But I do feel like I want to create as well a lot of the Sims as well from like The Sims 2. Like, I do want to create the Broke family, Octavia Spectre in that family, with her many dead husbands. I think would be quite interesting. I want it to be quite, my universe to be also very open and flexible with the Sims. I don't want it just to be, hey, I just want these people. I'm not really too fond of having like realistic celebrities in my game. I'm not sure why. I know, I feel that, I think because I feel I know it's a fictional game and my character's fictional, I prefer it to just be fictional. Not saying that I can't possibly have anime characters. That would be really cool. Get some anime going, or other game characters. Like, I would love to make maybe a horror household, or just based off other horror games like Poppy's Playtime, Huggy Wuggy. Like, maybe those characters in Sim versions, and just seeing what kind of, I guess, spectacular nightmare could come of them. I did play, like I've said, I've been a player of The Sims 4 for a decade, and I have played different versions. I've played Disney Princesses, I've also played a lot of Legacy challenges. I played with like Bendy and the Ink Machine, which was really fun at the time when custom content was made for them. Yeah, definitely played with some anime. And then I did just create just given the packs I got, or the custom content I had, I did just create my own Sims, which kind of, either they added impact to story, or I felt like creating a Sim and I just put them in the story, or just in my world, and see how they interacted. But it is unfortunate, and I do not completely understand on the with The Sims Online, how everyone does state that it is very lackluster with Sims interacting with Sims. And it is true, it really does feel like a dollhouse simulator. So you have to make the people, you have to make the house, you have to make the story. Which I agree, I don't see why you have to do that. Like, I would like to see as well, you jump into a game and you can just make whoever, or even just pick someone else to play, similar like the old past games that you could, when starting a new game, you go to the town map or the world map, opposed to just starting into create a sim. But hey, that's just the game mechanics we got, and that's where we're at this moment. Yeah, so here's a little bit of a pause break because I had to check on my little one. He woke up in the night and just needed a small nappy change. But yeah, I'm not really sure where else it would go with my Sims unless it's a legacy and just building up certain skills. And I am more of a storyteller when I do play compared to planning and like being very strategic about it. Especially with the mods I have to have lots of random events, I really do appreciate it more. Because you can never know, especially with Wicked Whims, you could just be woohooing your neighbour without any warning. I have basemental mods as well to help with Sims getting high and very flustered with their drinks, opposed to just them having, making my own family and having that dynamic. I do like creating the characters and then having, I guess, the conversation between them. And I think that works really well, though, having that she needs to date 7 men. I guess how far would the dating go? I would say until the woohoo stage. Like, probably date and get to know someone in the woohoo stage and then see, take a roll with the dice a bit, like, see who's actually, like, talking to her more or visiting her more, something like that. I think that could also work out. It also helps that if I really was at loss and I didn't want to have specific Sims, there's also the Simdar dating app has a random feature for just to set you up with a single Sim, which also helps when you're trying to be in a bit of a rush. I forget how long this video is. I'm not used to talking this much when they usually last only like 20 minutes to 10 to 20 minutes. But I guess that's my story so far for Snow White. For Cinderella, so she is currently... What does she do? I'm not sure if she has a full-time job. Was it Snow White with a full-time job? No, I'm pretty sure I gave Snow White babysitting. Well, I can't remember what Cinderella's job is. Oh, yep, I remember. So I made Cinderella a stylist, more in the sense, because given her story, she got the ball gown and created the ball gown with her fairy godmother. So I kind of put that I felt she was fitting the stylist career. So I guess she would be a very big fashionista. So maybe, again, a lot of either owning their business or becoming top of something. And I feel that she would be a really good either fashion designer or maybe even a model. So maybe fashion designer. So obviously her having her very modern house, but also trying to, as she expands, and because as well, I don't think I want to have every Sim in their one house to live and die, have their lifespan in, which I have a tendency of doing. I want to maybe move them around and see, like, I definitely could see either Ariel, because she's in this kind of crappy apartment, I could see her moving to the city of San Myshuno and trying to work up from there. She could be kind of like the runaway teen or like rags to riches sort of ordeal. But definitely Cinderella is, I do feel she's a sense of a stylist or very stylish girl. Um, I'm not sure what else. I think I made her a party animal, which makes sense because she wanted to go to the ball, which is obviously party. So I feel like she wanted to be more social. Obviously, I do want her to settle down as well eventually, and I feel that she would have maybe 2, 3 kids. Um, as well with her, she does have her stepsisters that could also come into the play of the game and see what kind of mischief they would bring up and see what kind of, I guess, interaction she has with them. Like, is it quite negative or is it positive? I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think how I tell my story is slowly adding elements as it goes, opposed to like, hey, these are every single sim here up front. You kind of, it kind of gets boring in that sense too. But yeah, and well, there was Lady Tremaine, which was Cinderella's villain. I guess she could also make an appearance, but I think it'll be more subtle. And we finally got to the screenshots area, so hopefully that gives a little bit more in depth of the 2 sims that I want to slowly work up to their Let's Play, and just what's coming up for the channel with the Sims content. Yeah, like I said, this was quite a heavy job and it was super fun to do. I did like it because I put a lot more effort into like the grunge look and a very dirty, abandoned place. Hence why there's so much garbage. There's just lots of old things, and I do feel sorry for Ariel to be stuck in this sort of place. But again, as I said in the last one, with her history, I feel that she just is a bit immature mentally, and she's going through her rough time. So I think we just popped her in when she's going through a bit of a tough time in life. But I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.